Good evening and welcome to the Thai PBS World. Prime Minister Prayut said this evening that he is planning to end state of emergency imposed in Bangkok last week with an aim to end escalating in Bangkok. He also called on all sides to take a step back to avoid more damage to the country. At this point, we all need to take a step back from the brink away from the path that would plunge Thailand into disaster, he said in a television address at 7 p.m. Prayut said all the voices and demands of the protesters have been heard and they should allow legislative branch to do its work in diffusing what he admitted is a potentially explosive situation. He said he expected Parliament to convene a special session to debate the situation on October 26th to 27th, while cautioning that the street protests would not always produce the result as desired by the protesters. Prayut also admitted that the government's strong-arm approach would not always work. The only way out is a dialogue based on respect for laws and the wishes of the people through the parliamentary process, he said. In a veiled reference to the protesters' demand for reform of the monarchy, the Prime Minister said what made Thailand as it is today are all the major institutions that have been the foundation of the country for hundreds of years. If we destroy this legacy, we would lose all the important things that make Thailand a unique country as it is, he said. Prayut said unless there is more violence, he is prepared to lift the state of emergency imposed in Bangkok. He did not give a time frame as to when he will end the state of emergency. As I am prepared to take this step, I would like to ask you sincerely to take the same path and tone down all the rhetoric that is creating division and hatred in the society, he said. This evening, a scuffle broke out between a group of self-proclaimed loyalists and protesters demanding political changes on the campus of Ramkhamhaeng University in Hua Mak, and police officers have to intervene and separate between two groups, and there was no immediate reports of injuries. Members of the so-called Monarchy Protection Network wearing yellow shirts had rallied on the campus to denounce the protesters calling for a reform of the monarchy. They confronted another group of protesters who started to gather for a rally at around 5:15 p.m. The rally at Ramkhamhaeng University by the loyalist group was part of nationwide demonstrations by people angered by the ongoing student-led protests, demanding political changes that include a sweeping reform of the monarchy. Ramkhamhaeng is known as a hotbed of student activism and has seen a series of anti-government rallies in the past few days. Royalists opposed to the protest demanding reform of the monarchy have begun to emerge to make their voice heard. As a group of students and royalists held a rally this afternoon at Ramkhamhaeng University to declare their loyalty to the country's three pillars of nation, region, and monarchy, similar demonstrations also took place in a few other provinces, including Surin, Narathiwat, Lampang, and Samut Prakan. The demonstrators denounced those who have been campaigning for a reform of the monarchy, but made it clear that they had no intention to physically confront them. More similar demonstrations are also planned across the country in the next few days, with a call for Thais to wear yellow on October 23rd to commemorate the passing of King Chulalongkorn, who engineered Thailand's modernization and abolished slavery.